So, I want to talk to you today about our upcoming episode called Leeches, episode 40 Leeches. Our topic of discussion is business services that will solicit you as a new business and even as a existing business. And during our conversation, we talked about some things like social media managers, things of that nature. And in that conversation, we did talk about some of the sales tactics that are used. And I had the wonderful opportunity of getting a phone call about a sales pitch, or was a sales pitch, today. Directly after recording the episode. Tyler's gone now, and I had spoke to him, this particular solicitor, earlier last week, and I didn't have time to finish the conversation, and I had already known that I was not super interested in the services that were offered, and in fact made that known to him in the very first phone call we had. If you recall, when you first contacted, or when we first started talking on Thursday, the first two questions I had for you are, what services are you selling and how much is it going to cost? And because I said, hey, let me save you a whole bunch of time.
Well, absolutely. So what I said was, no, I do remember that. And the reason that I say the things that I do is, I say, number one, my intentions aren't to contact you because I'm trying to sell you on a service more so than I am to bring more awareness to some of the things that you're doing online. I did say that if you were interested and there was a service, if you were interested in looking at our service, we do provide a solution, and it does cost money, but I would never expect you to be interested in looking at that until you felt that these issues needed to be addressed.
But he wanted to continue to give me his sales pitch, so I decided to go along with it. And after a 2-hour conversation on Friday, we still weren't done yet. So we followed it up with another conversation today after I was done recording our podcast that's going to be releasing this Thursday. So during this conversation, there were actually a few things that we predicted in the episode, and I will show you guys here in a moment the things that we predicted. As well as I would like to point out the methods that he went, and the prices, because via the phone call we were sharing a screen on the computer so he could present me with this slideshow presentation. I will, full disclosure, this is about GoDaddy and their social media marketing strategies or services that they offer, which they do guard their prices because they would not tell me the price from the get-go. It's hard to find their prices online, but if you stay tuned in this video, you will see. I will show you some of their prices. Now, initially, we had predicted that during a typical sales presentation, and it is a sales tactic, is in order to make their costs seem lower, they will tell you what the value of their services are. They have this sales pitch that's built to kind of ease you into the idea, because they have to first convince you of its value. So here's a sales tactic for you. And I'm sure that, this isn't really a secret, but this is something that is pretty well known in the sales world. That the sales tactic is that you don't reveal the price until you have built up the value of the product or service that you're selling. And if you've built the value of it to be more than the price, then when you do reveal the price, you're revealing it as though it's a steal of a deal. It's a bargain, know. So. And you'll see that he does, in fact, show me the value. And he does so in saying, if you were to pay someone to do this for you, minimum wage would cost you $1,200 a month, plus the cost that they will be including into their packages, their professional photo shoot and editing will cost you $1,500. Email marketing will cost another $200. And those are, that's what their value is, as I predicted he would use as a sales tactic. And now these numbers are not inaccurate, but it is a service that I initially was not super interested in. So then we will see here what their pricing is. So their pricing shows that you have a starter package that costs $499 a month. And that gives you social profile optimization, unlimited review responses, 12 posts per month on your social media platforms, as well as actionable reporting and insights. Then it bumps up from there to the value package, which includes all of those, except it also allows you to have 25 posts per month, so it more than doubles the post on your social medias. And branded email campaigns plus a new customer campaign. And then they have a Prime, which bumps up to $7.99 a month, where it includes all of those plus unlimited, plus your TripAdvisor included with your unlimited review responses and your professional photo shoot. Now, they also have a one-time setup fee of $499. Now, here's where things get a little interesting, as I assume they're going to drop the price, and I told him I wasn't interested. So he then proceeded to drop the price. The initial startup fee will drop to $299 for the initial startup fee, and then have your plans drop $100 for the Prime and Value prices, and drop $50 for the starter package. So then I tell him that that's just not something I want to spend on my business, being that my overhead needs to remain as low as possible, and that is an increase on my monthly overhead cost. And so he puts me on hold to speak with his manager. He then goes ahead and slashes the price yet again, another $100 on the value package, bringing it from $499 down to $399. Takes that starter package and drops it down to $299, and then drops the initial startup fee to $199, but then it will also include a professional photo shoot, as well as your new customer campaigns, and your branded email campaign is all going to be available for the low cost of $300 a month. Now, I would like to point out that none of this is necessarily a bad price, and I think that it is valuable in some instances. My particular business model, it does not necessarily match up with what I want to do, what my goals are, and the cost associated with overhead. I think that there is value in it, and I think that you would see some form of success, but I created this video in two parts for a couple of reasons. One, we did predict a few things that would happen in a sales conversation, because I know a thing or two about sales, and I wanted to point that out. Another reason that I posted this video is because if anyone is considering GoDaddy, this may save you a 2-hour sales consultation, because you already know what the prices are and what they are willing to do. Now, granted, these price drops they did mention are available only to existing GoDaddy customers, which I am, because I have several domains that I register and maintain with them, as well as 2 websites that I register with them. And I do think that GoDaddy is a valuable service, and it's worth using them for many of their services. And this service is not necessarily something that I wouldn't think would be valuable to a lot of people and a lot of businesses. I personally just run my own marketing strategy, and I do a lot of it in-house and by myself, and it saves me a ton of money. Now, that being said, some people may not have the time or kind of the know-how to do so, and this is not necessarily a bad price. It's actually a really good price for what they're offering, but it's just not something that I'm interested in, and I did point that out in the very first conversation I had with him. And whenever I mention it to him, he does suddenly remember that he did have that conversation with me, and I did remind him that we could have saved a whole lot of time if he would have just answered my 2 questions whenever I asked him, what services are you selling me, and how much is it going to cost? I could have told him that perhaps we're not going to go down this route, and he could have saved a couple hours worth of phone calls. That being said, check out our episode that we'll be releasing on Thursday. we will have a new episode of the Making Jobs podcast Thursday morning. You'll see that show up on your Apple Podcast, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, all your favorite platforms for podcast streaming. And there will be a link listed in this description to find a place to listen to all of our full episodes. Go ahead and give us a like and subscribe to our page for more videos. And I hope that you did find this useful, especially the information about GoDaddy's pricing. And like I said, not necessarily a bad price. It could be something that you would be interested in yourself. I just did find the conversation a little bit funny and way too predictable. So, until next time.